He humiliated the new girl in front of everyone, then made the biggest mistake of his life. Before we begin, I want you to imagine something. Imagine walking into a place where nobody knows you, where every whisper feels like it's about you, where every laugh sounds personal. Now imagine being humiliated in front of hundreds of people. What happened that morning in the college hallway wasn't just a fight. It was a lesson. And by the end of it, the one person who thought he ruled that campus learned something he would never forget. Before we get into the story, make sure you subscribe to the channel Love Story, like this video, and share it with someone who believes in quiet strength. And tell me in the comments, have you ever seen a bully get exactly what they deserved? Now let's begin. It was just another noisy Monday morning at Westbridge College. The hallway was alive in the way college hallways always are. Lockers slammed. Shoes squeaked against polished floors. Conversations overlapped into a loud, chaotic hum. Groups of students leaned against walls, laughing too loudly at jokes that weren't that funny. Others hurried toward lectures, coffee cups in hand, eyes half open. And then there was her. Her name was Lena Carter. She walked carefully, almost like someone stepping onto thin ice. Her backpack straps were pulled tight against her shoulders. Her eyes were lowered, not out of weakness, but out of caution. She wasn't scrolling on her phone like the others. She wasn't laughing. She wasn't trying to be noticed. Lena was new. And at Westbridge College, being new was dangerous, especially when someone like Dylan Hayes ruled the social atmosphere. Dylan wasn't just popular, he was dominant. Tall, athletic, loud, the kind of guy who filled space without trying. He had two permanent shadows, Mason and Trent, who laughed at every joke he made, no matter how stupid. People didn't necessarily like Dylan, but they feared embarrassing him. And fear was enough. Lena tried to slip past unnoticed. She almost made it. A sharp voice sliced through the noise. "Hey, watch where you're going." The hallway quieted slightly. Dylan stepped directly into her path, blocking her way. His friends positioned themselves casually on either side, creating a wall without making it obvious. She looked up slowly. "I'm sorry," she said softly. Her voice wasn't shaking. That surprised him. "Sorry," he repeated loudly. "You almost ran into me." She hadn't. She tried to step around him. Instead, with one quick flick of his hand, he knocked the books out of her arms. The sound echoed louder than it should have. Notebooks burst open, papers scattered like startled birds. A pen rolled across the floor. Silence fell. It's strange how fast a crowd can gather when humiliation is involved. Lena knelt immediately, her fingers moving quickly to gather her notes. Her cheeks flushed red, not from fear, but from being watched. Dylan crouched slightly, just enough to loom over her. "Wow," he laughed. "Too clumsy to walk. How'd you even get accepted here?" A few nervous chuckles echoed from the crowd. No one stepped forward. No one ever does. He grabbed one of her notebooks and flipped through it dramatically. "Oh look, she actually studies," he mocked. "That's cute. Give it back," Lena said calmly. That calmness irritated him. He expected tears, anger, something entertaining. Instead, she was steady. He waved the notebook above her head. Or what? The hallway was completely silent now. Phones had already been lifted discreetly. Recordings had begun. Lena stood up slowly. There was something different in her posture now. Not aggressive. Not defensive. Balanced. "I'm asking politely," she said quietly. "Give it back." Dylan laughed loudly for the audience. "Or what?" he repeated, stepping closer. And then he made his mistake. He grabbed her wrist. Not violently, but firmly enough to show control. And in that single second, everything changed. It happened so fast that most people didn't understand what they had seen. Lena pivoted. Her body turned with precise control. Her free hand moved in a fluid motion. She shifted her weight, redirected his force, and used his own momentum against him. There was no wild swing, no panic, just technique. Dylan's balance disappeared instantly. A heavy thud echoed as he hit the floor flat on his back. A collective gasp filled the hallway. Mason stepped back. Trent's mouth hung open. Dylan lay there, stunned, staring at the ceiling like he couldn't understand gravity anymore. Lena stood above him, calm, breathing steady. "I didn't want to do that," she said clearly. No one laughed now. Dylan tried to sit up, but embarrassment hit him harder than the fall. What the hell was that? He muttered. She picked up her notebook from where it had fallen beside him. "That," she replied evenly, "was restraint." The word cut deeper than the impact. A professor had appeared at the far end of the hallway, drawn by the noise. Students quickly pretended nothing had happened. But they had seen. Everyone had seen. Dylan pushed himself up, face burning red, not from pain, but from shattered pride. "You're crazy," he muttered weakly. "No," Lena said. "I'm trained." And with that, she turned and walked down the hallway. No one blocked her path this time. What nobody knew about Lena Carter was that she had spent 6 years training in martial arts, not for competition, not for trophies, but because of another hallway, another school, another bully. She had once been the quiet girl who cried. Not anymore. The video spread by lunchtime. By afternoon, it was everywhere. Group chats, private stories. Even seniors were whispering about it. The new girl dropped Dylan. "Did you see how fast she moved?" Bro, she didn't even look angry. For the first time in years, Dylan wasn't the one controlling the narrative. The next day felt different. When Lena walked through the hallway, people moved aside respectfully. Not out of fear. Out of awareness, Dylan was quieter. His friends were quieter, and something else had changed. Students who had once kept their heads down began to lift them. A freshman named Oliver approached Lena near the library. "Hey," he said nervously. "Thanks. For what?" she asked. "For yesterday." She didn't understand at first. "Someone had to," he added quietly. And that was the real impact. It wasn't about the fight. It was about the shift. Bullies thrive on silence, and silence had cracked. 3 days later, Dylan approached her again. But this time, there was no audience. He stood a few feet away in the courtyard. "I didn't know," he said awkwardly. "About what?" "That you," he paused. "That you could do that." She shrugged slightly. "You didn't need to know." He hesitated. "I was just messing around." "No," she said calmly. "You weren't." The honesty hit harder than a punch. He looked away. "I won't bother you again." "I know," she replied. And he didn't. Westbridge College never officially acknowledged the incident. But everyone remembered. The day the quiet new girl refused to be a victim. The day the hallway learned that strength doesn't shout. It stands quietly until it's forced to speak. And when it does, it doesn't need to scream. It just needs 1 second. If you enjoyed this story and believe that quiet strength is the most powerful kind, make sure you subscribe to Love Story, like this video, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. And tell me in the comments, have you ever underestimated someone or been underestimated yourself? Because sometimes the quietest person in the room is the strongest one there. And the biggest mistake a bully can make is choosing the wrong target.